this attempt to look at the cost of regulations and saying if an executive branch is going to propose something that's going to cost money, they need to find cuts elsewhere so it doesn't increase the deficit. Have you looked at that provision, and do you think it's a positive development?
Well, I mean, we certainly have seen last year the Biden administration either issued or proposed 3 different regulations with regard to student loans that collectively could potentially spend almost $1 trillion. So, you know, there is an issue of, you know, executive agencies issuing regulations that cost money far beyond what Congress probably originally intended. So the notion of a congressional review of those regulations, and essentially what's in the bill here is to propose allowing reviews of legislation or of regulation and giving Congress sort of an opportunity to veto them. And of course, it's a legislative veto, meaning that the president could veto the legislative veto, which would require Congress to try to override the presidential veto. So it's a very convoluted process, but certainly the intentions are good. And that is that you shouldn't have executive agencies writing legislation that costs tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars without congressional approval. And so, you know, I think the provision is in the right, you know, their heart's in the right place in putting the provision in. It's somewhat questionable how effective it will be, but it's certainly a step in the right direction.